Hello, Facebook family and friends. How are you all? I would like to welcome you all to Baking with Sharon. I love baking. It's one of my favorite pastimes to do. So welcome, and hope you all had a good day today. Hope you enjoyed your church service or spending time with family or whatever it is that you all did on today. I hope you had a really good day and that you're ready to learn how to bake some wonderful cookies. We will be baking three types of cookies. We're baking oatmeal cookies, my version of pecan sandies, and also I will be baking some peanut butter cookies. Those are my three favorite. I just recently came up with the recipe for the pecan sandies. But we're going to go ahead and get started. The first batch of cookies that we're going to make will be the peanut butter cookies, because I want to put those in the refrigerator so the dough can firm up a little bit so we can roll the dough to make some perfectly round peanut butter cookies. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do, I already have all the ingredients and everything measured, so we can move a little swiftly here so we can get to tasting these wonderful cookies. So for the peanut butter cookies, we want to add a cup of sugar, a cup of white sugar. So we're going to go ahead and add that to the bowl. And also a cup of brown sugar. We're going to go ahead and add that to the mix as well. We need to add 1 cup of butter. And 1 cup of butter is actually 2 sticks of margarine. And I will be honest with you, I didn't realize until a few years ago that it told you that this is like a half a cup of butter. I always thought it was 1 cup of butter, duh. But 2 sticks of margarine is actually 1 cup of butter. So we're going to go ahead and add that to the mixture. Now we'll try and chime in to the different questions. Sure, that'd be great. That'd be great. Thank you, Brittany, for joining. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Bert Johnson. We're going to go ahead and add the butter in. And these recipes are really quick and easy. Toss that in the trash. And it's a lot of fun. They taste really good. And I'll be honest with you, I love oatmeal cookies, but I'm not really a fan of the raisins in my oatmeal cookies. That's why we're going to make 2 different types of oatmeal cookies. So we're going to go ahead and mix up the sugar and the butter together. And I left the butter out overnight so it will soften up. So you want to use softened butter. And I'm not using an electric mixer. I like to mix my dough by hand. And you see that it's coming together. So you want to mix it until it's like kind of fluffy. And I'm not a professional baker. I'm an amateur. I just love to bake. It's one of my favorite pastimes. So we're getting that together. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add my peanut butter. And most recipes may call for like a cup of peanut butter, but I'm going to add, this is actually a 16 ounce, 16 ounces of peanut butter. So I'm going to go ahead and just add the entire jar because I love the peanut butter taste. And I probably should have opened this before I started. So I'm going to get a knife here so I can get into it really quickly. Alright, so I'm going to add the entire jar of peanut butter. This is Peter Pan, but you can use any brand of peanut butter. And I know they have the natural peanut butter, which I haven't tried to make it with the natural peanut butter yet. So Peter Pan always works well. So I'm gonna mix that up. Oh, I forgot to preheat my oven. So you want to preheat your oven to 400 degrees. So we're gonna go ahead and turn the oven on. So when we get ready for our next batch of cookies, we'll be able to bake them within 8 minutes. Let's see, we're mixing the peanut butter with the sugar and the butter. I'm going to go ahead and add about a tablespoon of vanilla flavoring. I forgot I got that thing on there. So I'm going to go ahead and add just a little bit in there. Mix that well together. Now this is a secret ingredient of mine. I actually learned this when I was baking cakes from the Food Network. I love watching the Food Network. They added mayonnaise to the cake to make it a little bit more moist. So I just add about 2 tablespoons of Miracle Whip to the batter as well. So just squirt just a little bit. I'm going to mix that in. Okay, if you see how beautiful the batter is, yum. We're going to add 2 eggs. And these are what we call organic eggs. So what are organic eggs? I get my eggs from one of my co-workers, Nan Leggett. Thank you very much. So these eggs have not been to a factory or any place like that. They're organic eggs. So we're going to crack the egg. We're going to add both of them at the same time. There we go. And it's okay if your hands get a little messy. And then we're going to beat in the eggs. Come together really well. I know my employees, my coworkers that's on the Facebook Live, they probably say, "Oh, I hope she brings some in tomorrow." It's a very good possibility that I may. All right, so now we are ready for our flour. I have pre-sifted the flour, so we're going to add 2 cups of flour. I'm going to go ahead and just add that in there. Now I'll do 1 cup at a time so we can make sure it mixes really well. So we actually had a good day today. My brother was visiting from Texas. He came in for a funeral, and we had some good family time today. We went out to Cracker Barrel and had a good meal, a good day. I was so excited about coming tonight to bake these cookies. So I'm going to go ahead and add the 2nd cup of flour. And I'm using self-rising flour. I cheat just a little bit. I always get the self-rising flour where it already has the salt and the baking soda in it. To me, it's just a little bit easier. Okay, so the dough is coming together really good. So make sure you scrape around the edges of the bowl, at the bottom of the bowl. Make sure you mix all the flour in. And if you see the batter is nice and thick, so I'm going to go ahead and transfer this to another container and put it in the refrigerator and let it chill while I'm making the other doughs, and we'll come back to it so we can roll these peanut butter cookies and have a good, a nice round peanut butter cookie. So I'm going to transfer it into here. This is a lot to do. So I hope y'all like peanut butter cookies. Okay, let me get my little spatula here so I can get the edges. And just scrape around. Because you don't want to leave any of this in the bowl. You want all this goodness. You don't want to leave it in the bowl. All right. So we're going to scrape that off the spoon to make sure we get it all. And I put some spoons aside because I like to taste the batter. I love dough. That is so delicious. Okay. So I'm going to put this in the refrigerator. Put the lid on it. And again, we're going to let that chill. Now, I need to wash my bowl. I don't have a lot of bowls like this lying around. I'm going to go ahead and wash it really quick like. So we can use it to start the oatmeal cookies. And one thing I like to do whenever I'm baking or cooking is to clean as I go. I learned that from my mom. She taught us that very well. And I don't like a lot of yuck in my dishwater, so I make sure I rinse it really well. So I'm going to go ahead and wash this really quick like. Oop, I had to lose my dish towel there. And thank you all so much for joining on this evening. I want to do something a little fun. When I first thought about Facebook Live, I was really scared. I'm like, I don't like being in front of the camera, but I like doing things fun and I like sharing. So I had to put that fear aside. All right, so we have a nice clean bowl. I'm gonna go ahead and dry it off a little. And we'll start our next batch of cookies. Just trying to see if I have any questions or anything. All right, so the next batch of cookies we're going to make are the oatmeal cookies. And with the oatmeal cookies, we're actually going to split the dough. I'll put some raisins in one batch, and I'll leave the raisins out the other batch so I can have some and enjoy it as well. Because me and raisins, it's okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put in a cup of sugar. It's all free measured. And a cup of brown sugar, and it's packed brown sugar. And of course, another cup of butter. So I'm going to go ahead and add the butter here. I need to wash my spoon. If y'all have any questions or anything, just feel free to type it in the comment box. I see somebody type something, I'll get to it in just one moment. These are some of the challenges that they have on the Food Network, where the contestants have to bake or cook and respond to the Facebook Live. Say, Miss Sharon, where did you get that bowl? Actually, I got this bowl from Goodwill. I love Goodwill. You can find some good steals at Goodwill. I love Goodwill. Oh, I'm almost forgetting the other stick of butter. So you want 2 sticks of butter Again, that equals 1 cup. Why do you chill the butter? Okay, this butter is not chilled. I set the butter out overnight. So you want to have softened butter. So you want to leave it out so the butter will soften. You usually use chilled butter for like biscuits or if you're going to make another type of dough. But for this recipe, you leave the butter out so it will soften. So we're mixing again the butter and the sugars together. So you want it nice and fluffy. So you see how nice and fluffy it is? All right, so we're going to go ahead and add the vanilla. Again, 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And for this recipe, I'm going to add cinnamon. And a lot of people usually add the cinnamon at the end, just before you put the flour in. Well, actually, after you put the flour in, but I always like to add mine before. So maybe about 2 tablespoons of cinnamon. And we mix that in. We can also, well, we've done that already. Just mix that. And I like to add the cinnamon now so it mixes really good with the sugar. Okay, and at this point, I'm going to go ahead and add 2 eggs. Then we got the organic eggs again. And these are brown eggs. Brown eggs or the white eggs, either one will work. Just try not to get any shells in there. I think we're good. So we're going to mix the eggs in. And I'll show you in just a minute. All right, so you see the batter is nice and smooth. I don't know if you can see that. Yes, a little bit better. It's nice and smooth. So we're gonna go ahead and add the oatmeal. Again, some people add it after they add the flour, but I like to add mine beforehand. So we're gonna put in 2 cups of oatmeal. Just the instant, not the instant oatmeal, but the where you cook in 5 minutes. So I can't remember the name of it right now. Or you can use the old-fashioned. So I put in 2 cups of oatmeal. And go ahead and mix that in. Don't have any questions there? Okay, I don't have any questions yet. Any more questions? Okay, we're going to also go ahead and add walnuts. This is the Walmart brand of walnuts. You can use planters. I love planters as well. So we're going to just put in maybe about a half a cup, or maybe a little bit more, of walnuts. So we're going to go ahead and mix that. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and add the flour, and then I'm going to separate it, and then put raisins in one batch, and then leave one without the raisins. So I'm going to go ahead and put the flour in. And just mix it really well. Sometimes if you mix too fast, you have a dust cloud coming up like that, a flour dust cloud, and sometimes it'll splatter all over you. Oh. So I'm going to go ahead and put the second cup of flour in. I'm going to mix that really well. It's coming together nicely. And if I look a little sweaty, it's hot. I turned the air down. I knew that I was going to have the oven on. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and separate the batter. I'm going to put half in here. I won't put a lot because it's just me. You know, I think a lot of people like the oatmeal, the raisins. I'm going to go ahead and put this one in the refrigerator as well. Excuse me. Let me get the raisins off. I got to take those out of the cabinet there. All right, so we got the raisins. So we're going to pour in maybe a half a cup of raisins. The raisins are really good for you. So if your iron is low, they usually recommend that you eat raisins. So I'm going to get those mixed really well. And let me wash my spatula here. Excuse me. All right, so we're going to scrape the dough. And if you see, nice looking dough with some raisins in it. So I'm going to go ahead and put some of these on the cookie sheet. So we're going to move over here a little bit. Can y'all still see me okay? I'm going to show you the cookie sheets over here. Get another spoon. So that's actually, I'm going to cut that one in half. So you want to put them just a couple of inches apart. Not sure you want to get a few of them on there. And these don't have to be perfect. These are the cookies. We're getting ready to put them in the oven. They probably turn out kind of big, but we like big cookies, right? Because they're really good. So we're going to set the timer for 8 minutes. All right, so I'm going to transfer the rest of this dough to another bowl. Then we'll get started on the pecan sandies. Oh, where's my spoon? All right, so we're going to take these out and put them in the refrigerator. And you could probably make, this would probably make about 4 dozen of cookies. Where's my lid? Oh, here's my lid. I'm gonna go ahead and put this one in the refrigerator as well. I'm gonna soak it and drink this a little juicier. All right. So I'm gonna wash the bowl again, then we get started on the last batch, which are the pecan sandies, my version of the pecan sandies. Actually, I need to clear my little sink here. Let me rinse this out. And I just finished watching the Food Network. They have the excuse me, I'm sorry about that. The Halloween Baking Championship, which they come up with some really interesting recipes and designs. Maybe one day I'll get to that point. And I've always wondered why they never had like a culinary school in Gainesville or a baking school. I would love to attend one of those so that I can learn more on how to bake. So we're gonna rinse the bowl again. All right. I'm gonna dry it off. Excuse me. All right, so we're on our last batch. Now for this particular cookie, we're not going to use any brown sugar. We're going to use 2 cups of white sugar. And we're going to use 2 more sticks of butter, which equals 1 cup of butter. And I'll post these recipes at the end of the session tonight. It says, why do you chill the cookies mix? Oh, I'm sorry. Is that Teresa? Teresa, you chill the cookie mix. Hold on, watch my spoon. I can forget it. I have this one spoon that I use. You chill the cookie mix, and this butter is not as thawed as the other, but you chill the cookie mix. From what I understand, I chill mine because it makes it easier to roll the dough, but it helps with the baking process, and I can't really answer that in the correct manner that I should, but I know it firms up the dough. And firmer dough, I think, has a better result when you're baking. So I got to chop this one up just a little bit more elbow grease for this one. Because I forgot I needed some more butter, so I stopped by the store earlier, and it was not out overnight like the other butter was. Coming together. It's a little bit more elbow grease. I think you can see it. Uh-oh, it's getting out of the bowl, but it's okay. Okay, we're almost there. All right. So you see this one is a little bit more fluffier than the other. So if you can see that. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and add the vanilla. All right. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and add the eggs now. And it's gonna make it a little bit more smoother when I add the eggs. All right, 2 eggs. Oh, did y'all hear that beep? The cookies are almost ready. So I'm gonna go ahead and stir in the eggs. 37 seconds and the cookies are ready. So you see, adding the eggs made the batter a lot smoother. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to actually take the cookies out of the oven, and then I'm going to add the pecans to the batter. That's the definite beat right there. It's time to take them out of the oven. So whenever you're working with a hot stove, have to pull a hot pan out of the oven, make sure you have your mitt. Ooh, this is hot. So you see these beautiful oatmeal cookies. So they're gonna have to sit for a few minutes before I try and move them off the pan. So I'm just gonna sit them up there. And then I'll tell you all how great they are. All right, for the pecan sandies, I actually grind up the pecans. I don't want the whole pecans or the half pecans. I want to make it like a sand texture. So I'm gonna put some of those in the blender. I'll do a little bit more because I love pecans. All right, so we're gonna put the lid on. Oh, Karen Alfred, you're more than welcome to come on over. Next time, I will have to have some tasters. About to spill my vanilla here. Let me put that back on. Some tasters to come over. So I'm gonna blend up the pecans. So to give it a shake. And this is not one of those bullets. Pretty sure a bullet would have had it done by now. Okay, I think that's good enough. All right, so we blended up the pecans. Sorry about that, y'all. You see the pecans, it's like a sand texture. So we're gonna go ahead and pour that in the batter. Mix it really well. Ooh, I like to make sure I get all of it. All right, see, that didn't take long. So we have all the pecan sand in the batter. Need something to drink? And I'm drinking Grape Crystal Light. It is wonderful. It is absolutely wonderful. All right, so I'm going to go add 2 cups of flour. As I mentioned before, it's already pre-sifted. Sometimes I sift and sometimes I don't. To me, I guess it depends on what you're baking. Okay, 2nd cup of flour. Those cookies are looking really good over there. They're calling my name. Okay, I think this is about good here. Excuse me a minute. Sorry, struggle with these allergies sometimes. All right, so, and this would be another, this batter is a little bit loose. This would be another batter that you can put into the refrigerator to sort of firm it up a little bit. But you can go ahead and cook it like it is now. But the firm batter works a little bit better. Works better. Batter. Did I say that right? Okay. All right. So I'm going to get another cookie sheet. And move those to the side. Come over here. Another spoon. So we're gonna add some here. I'm about to taste the other ones in just a little bit. Okay, so we have the cookies on the cookie sheet. Put them in the oven. Put 8 minutes on the timer. And I think it's time for me to taste these cookies. Let me get my spatula. Oatmeal cookies, and I see that these have the raisins in them. I didn't pay attention when I put it in the oven, but it's all good. This is delicious. Not bragging on myself, but this is delicious. Tastes really good. Oh, let's get back to bacon, okay? Hold on. I'll put my cookie here. I'll get back to it later. But it is delicious. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is clean this up a little bit. I'm gonna get the peanut butter cookies. And we're gonna roll the peanut butter cookies. Let me go ahead and move these other cookies off the cookie sheet so I can use that cookie sheet for these. Oh, you get another plate. I put them on the cookie rack over here. Okay. We're going to use the same pan, it's okay. Get another spoon. Alright, so the cookie dough is still not as firm as I want it, but it'll work. Make sure you wash your hands. I've been washing my hands all night long, but make sure you wash your hands because you're going to roll the dough with your hand. Make sure your hands are dry. Okay, so we're going to put some dough in my hand. And we're going to roll it like this to make a ball. See the ball? To make a little ball. I don't know if y'all can see all that. Okay. I'm going to roll it. Another ball. So I'll probably do about a half a dozen of these. And these are a nice size. They usually recommend that you put the dough in the refrigerator for like an hour, but we'll make it work. Okay. Now, peanut butter cookies are usually recognized by the little stripes in them. I'm gonna go ahead and put this back in the fridge. Excuse me. Okay, to make those famous stripes that you see on peanut butter cookies, you want to use a fork. Let me get my bowl here. You're gonna put some water in the bowl. So whenever we press down on the cookies, the dough will not stick to the fork. So just simply put the fork in the water. I want you all to see. Put the fork in the water and just press down on the cookie. Horizontal, vertical. And it makes that famous mark of a peanut butter cookie. All right, so you see the famous mark of a peanut butter cookie? All right, so we have about 3 minutes. We have about 3 minutes until the other cookies are done. Then we'll pop these in the oven, and we're gonna taste those as well. The pecan sandies, I love them, very good. So y'all have any questions you want to ask while we're waiting? The 3 minutes for those other ones to finish up. Any questions? So glad you all joined me on this evening. Hopefully you will have learned something. If you didn't know how to cook, or bake oatmeal cookies or pecan sandies or the peanut butter cookies. So hopefully you have learned something. And again, I will post the recipes this evening. If you have any questions while you're trying to bake them, just hit me up on Facebook and I'll help you out as much as I can. I love baking. It's one of my favorite pastimes. We have 2 minutes. I'm ready to taste those too. So let's see. It's coming. So did y'all have a good day today? Ready for work tomorrow? Ready for your work week? You ready to have fun this week? You know, sometimes we have different challenges throughout the week, but hey, it's all good. It's all good. God's got it. It's all good. Just trying to kill a little time while we wait for these 2 minutes. So y'all have any questions? Any questions? Everybody's patiently waiting like I am. Oh, that first beat, the warning that the cookies are almost ready. Down to 54 seconds, 54 seconds. So some of you know we had a funeral this weekend. Miss Alberta Walker, who passed away, she was a wonderful neighbor. And those of you who were at the funeral, you know, my mom mentioned that they were neighbors for 58 years, and she was a really, really dear person to the Copeland community. Copeland, woo-hoo! Shout out to Copeland. We have 21 minutes, and we're going to pull those out of the oven. So, 15 seconds, 14 seconds. Do I have a question here? How long have you been baking? Oh, I have been baking for a really long time. I love baking. Watched my mother bake when I was a young girl. Okay, that's the